Tim Scott launched a presidential exploratory committee. Does this mean he's running for president?
Construction at this historic theater has been going on for weeks. When will the scaffolding come down, and what is the university working on?
And mental health services may soon be accessible across state lines. More in the bill that will make a difference for locals who use counseling services.
Carolina News starts now. Carolina News, I'm Faith Miller.
And I'm Tatum Miller. No relation, but thanks for joining us.
South Carolina Senator Tim Scott announced he's launching a presidential exploratory committee.
Our Chandler Atkinson is live at the State House with what this means and how both parties are responding.
Announced his Presidential Exploratory Committee today on the 162nd anniversary of the start of the Civil War. Scott emphasized his faith and his desire to reunite America in his announcement. Today, I reached out to both the Republican and Democratic parties to get more information on what an exploratory committee is and what it means moving forward.
Allows any candidate, regardless of what they're running for at the federal level, to jump in the race and test the waters, and they can raise money and spend money.
South Carolina Republican Senator Tim Scott made this announcement, and it's a clear sign of his intent to run for president. If he does make that announcement, it would make him the second South Carolina Republican candidate, joining Nikki Haley. With another potential Republican candidate from the state, I reached out to the South Carolina Republican Party for their plan moving forward. They couldn't speak with me, but did give me this statement, saying, "We will remain neutral and provide our famous Southern hospitality to all candidates campaigning in our great state." Executive Director of the South Carolina Democratic Party, Jay Parmley, believes the Republicans are, quote, trying to out-conservative and out-MAGA each other, end quote. With the list of candidates potentially growing, Parmley thinks it could be an interesting year for South Carolinians.
I grabbed some popcorn.
The potential addition of Tim Scott adds yet another layer for South Carolina voters to consider. With Governor McMaster openly backing Donald Trump, the addition of Nikki Haley and now possibly Tim Scott to the presidential race makes it unclear of who the state may be supporting moving forward. Reporting live from the State House, Chandler Atkinson, Carolina News.
Thank you, Chandler. We're going to throw it over to Brianna Lachey, who is live now outside the Weather Center.
Brianna, how's it feeling out there?
We'll see you.
I'm going to be quite honest, it is really hot right now. We're sitting at a nice 79 degrees. It might be nice for those out there jogging right now, enjoying this beautiful sun, looking at the scenery. But right now, standing here is not so pleasant. But all I can do is just appreciate it right now, because going in further to the week is going to be a little more not as pleasant. So that's all I have for you now. I'm going to send it right back to the desk.
Thank you, Brianna. People firing guns into the air in Somerton has raised concerns about local gun crime. In response, the Clarendon County town passed a gun ordinance stating firearms could only be shot for safety reasons. This is the first of its kind for the town and will go into effect immediately. Violators could face a $500 fine, 30 days in jail, or both.
After 2 dogs mauled a woman in Sumter County, the community is calling for greater consequences for irresponsible dog owners. While owners are liable for any injuries, current South Carolina law does not make it an arrestable offense if their loose dog attacks anyone. As for the weekend Sumter attack, the first dog was shot directly after the incident, and the second dog was captured and will be put down. The victim remains hospitalized with critical injuries.
3 people are injured following a floor collapse at a courthouse in Savannah, Georgia. The 3rd floor collapsed onto the 2nd floor yesterday afternoon. Though the 3 injured people are expected to fully recover, red flags have been raised about the construction of the courthouse.
A big building, it's an older building, and it's had its challenges.
Representative Buddy Carter said safety will be the top priority when moving forward with this project.
Have you noticed the closed sidewalks and construction noise at the corner of Sumter and Green Streets this week? Reporter Will Kronsberg has the details on what's going on and when the area may be cleared.
It's a sunny day at the University of South Carolina. People are out on the horseshoe having picnics, going on tours, and enjoying the spring weather. But just a few steps away, scaffolding.
I'm not really sure what it is that they're doing.
This is one of the university's oldest buildings outside of the Horseshoe, Longstreet Theater. Opened in 1855, the building was originally an auditorium and a chapel before later becoming a science building, a gymnasium, and now, as of 1977, a full-time theater. Currently, the building is home to USC's Department of Theater and Dance. But like any 168-year-old building, Longstreet Theater needs a touch-up every so often.
Doing a lot of water sealing, restoring and repairing of old wood, removing some old paint and repainting it.
Currently, renovations are to the building's facade, which normally houses posters and advertisements for the department's theater program. The focus is on improving the appearance of the building and bringing a bounce back to the historic building's face.
Exterior renovation to restoration to 2 of the sides of the building.
In the meantime, the construction and shuttered sidewalk may be in the way.
I feel like you can't really see the cars coming, and that kind of like poses a little bit of a danger.
According to the university, the project is estimated at just below $1 million and is hopefully on pace to finish by the beginning of the fall 2023 semester. In Columbia, Will Kronsberg, Carolina News.
Padgett says the facilities department is working on completing the Longstreet project, Campus Village, and updates to the Jones Building heading into the fall.
A historic park in Winnsboro is getting a facelift after facing serious storm drainage problems. Fortune Springs Park was rewarded over $400,000 to address the drainage problems that left the park falling apart. The goal is to bring the park as close to what it looked like when it was first designed by Richard Martin. There is no set date for when work will begin.
More taxpayer dollars may soon go towards firefighter salaries, all in hopes to fight falling retention for local firefighters. Richland County firefighter salaries are 12% lower than surrounding areas, and this has led Columbia-Richland Fire Department leaders to propose a 4-phase plan to Columbia City Council. Their goal is to boost recruitment and retention.
Just don't want to be in the fire service anymore. Some people are not enticed to be in the fire service. Some people just leaving the fire service altogether. So that's why we got to come up with a little more creative ways and make sure that we are competitive.
The plan would take 6 months to complete and includes changes to vacation time, sick leave, part-time work, and overall increased pay. The annual South Carolina Fallen Fighters Memorial Service was held today at the Fire Academy Memorial Plaza. 4 firefighters were remembered for losing their lives in the line of duty and recognized for their courage, bravery, and dedication. The Memorial Plaza was constructed in 1999 and has a memorial wall that holds the names of all the firefighters that have been remembered.
We have to remember not just their names, but the stories behind those names, the legacies that they leave behind, because that's what makes this place important.
The 4 firefighters' names were added to a plaque in the Memorial Plaza.
These 2 Richland pedestrians were caught speeding, but not in the way you may think. Master Deputy Braylon Salmon was at a traffic stop when he took on a dare between kids. The dare, a foot race. Since the foot race went viral on the RCSD Twitter, Salmon D has been getting multiple requests to race others.
Coming up on Carolina News, counseling accessibility may be expanding here in South Carolina.
Find out what change state lawmakers are pushing for after the break.
145 over 92.
180 over 111.
I had a heart attack, a cardiac arrest, and then a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure looks like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a heart attack or stroke are far from invisible or silent. Get back on your plan, or talk with your doctor to create an exercise, diet, and medication plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
If I would have followed a treatment plan, I would not be in this situation.
Heard about the scarecrow who won an award? He was outstanding in his field.
What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana.
Welcome back to Carolina News. Under this proposed piece of legislation, South Carolina counselors would be able to practice across state lines. Currently, counselors can only practice when both parties are in the state, which limits or even forces the termination of long-term service. This bill would have South Carolina join the Counseling Compact, which allows clients to receive counsel while on vacation or when moving out of state.
But it's much more streamlined than if you had to apply for licensure in each of those states, which could take years, and it might be that you might not have the qualifications for some states and you might be excluded.
So far, 20 states, including Georgia and North Carolina, have joined the Counseling Compact.
With President Biden officially lifting the COVID-19 state of emergency, COVID tests may soon come at a cost. Starting May 11th, the guarantee of free testing will go away. Until then, the federal government will continue to send out free kits to households who haven't gotten 2 shipments. The FDA recommends that you check the expiration dates on any old test kits.
The annual Midlands Gives community fundraiser is officially underway. The Oliver Gospel Mission's goal this year is to raise $200,000. The money goes towards year-round programming, shelters, and food for people year-round. Their main donor day is May 2nd, but donations are being accepted now on the Midlands Gives website.
With graduation just weeks away at USC, booking rooms and dinners for graduate families has proven to be a challenge. Lydia Blackstone spoke to some of these upcoming grads and local businesses on what's available if you're still on the look to book.
Sarah Locke works the front desk at the Graduate Hotel right on the USC campus. And with the May 5th and 6th graduation weekend looming,
it's crazy here.
Sarah is just one of over 8,000 students graduating. And even though she works at the Graduate Hotel, she still has had a hard time getting her family a place to stay.
My mom actually made the mistake of booking the wrong weekend. She was able to get a reservation, but it's not close.
General Manager of the Graduate Hotel, Tanya Black, says more proactive planners.
People are trying to book out to 2025 already.
Hotels aren't the only ones slammed for the graduation weekend. Restaurants are having the same experience.
Really everything's booked. I've even started calling like 20 minutes out.
We actually had to get reservations for the 6th because everything was booked for the 5th that night.
I called 15 popular Columbia restaurants for graduation dinner on May 6. Only a few have remaining tables. Some of the ones with very limited availability include Taza, The Melting Pot, Saluda's, California Dreaming, The Warmouth, and Zaz. And while Sarah is doing a dinner at home, her friends at different schools have different experiences.
All my friends graduating from other schools, I've heard nothing similar. I can't even believe it.
For Carolina News, I'm Lydia Blackstone.
About 32,000 additional people are headed to the capital city to celebrate the class of 2023 on May 6th and 5th.
And we've been soaking up some beautiful weather here in Columbia, but is it sticking around?
Brianna Lachey is outside the Weather Center now. What can you tell us, Brianna?
Well, what I can tell you is that this weather unfortunately will not be sticking around. Like I mentioned, we're just going to focus on the good right now. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day out, but I am extremely hot. I'll have more coming up after this break.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma. I have a mentor, and she convinced me to continue my education.
No one receives a diploma alone.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. This is unacceptable, and something Feeding America is working to solve. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States, including yours. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together we're feeding America.
They're gonna ask me to do the Dougie.
Sorry, guys. So right now it is 79 degrees in Columbia. We have a 4% chance of rain, but the way it's looking, I'm not seeing any chances of rain. And the humidity is at 41 degrees with winds going southwest at 4 miles per hour. So now if we look currently across the state, as you can see in Spartanburg, Greenville, and Anderson, we're in the high 70s. When you go into the middle of South Carolina, Columbia is sitting at 79. All over the state, we're just looking at some warm temperatures. But now let's look at the lows for tonight. As you can see up in Spartanburg, up in the upstate area, we're looking at some cool temperatures, along with the rest of the state, mostly that high 50s, low 40s. So now if we look at the sunset tonight, the sun will be setting at 7:53 p.m. We are getting longer days, and the sun will rise tomorrow at 6:56 a.m. So now let's look at our pollen. This is for my people with allergies, just letting you know what to be looking out for. So today, the grass and tree pollen, they're kind of a little high. The tree pollen is moderate and grass pollen is extremely high. Ragweed, you won't have to worry about ragweed today. Tomorrow, grass pollen will be high again. Tree pollen will be moderate, and there will be none of the other one. So if we look at our 5-day, Thursday, we are going to have a little bit of clouds. It's going to be about the same temperature that it is today. But going into Friday, that's when we're going to have some thunderstorms. Going into the weekend, Saturday will be okay, but Sunday, once again, we're going to be met with some thunderstorms. But starting off your work week, we'll have some nice sun, which is a nice make-up for all the thunderstorms. But that's all I have for you guys right now. I'll send it back to the desk.
Sports is next on Carolina News.
Our Nathan Baca will let you know how the Gamecocks fared on both sides of the diamond after the break.
This is the sound of confidence soaring.
Our mission is to educate, inspire, and honor.
This is the sound of honor roaring.
We should never, never forget those that gave their lives.
This is the sound of a generation rising above.
337 for Bravo Fox Papa. We want to be involved in the education of young people so that they can take our aircraft and the stories that our pilots tell and realize their own dreams.
The Commemorative Air Force honors the heroes of yesterday while educating and inspiring the heroes of tomorrow.
Your future and how you live your life is dependent on how you think.
You can learn more at commemorativeairforce.org right now.
How prepared is your family if disaster shows up at your doorstep? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan before they show up. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking, let's go. You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes! Make a plan today.
I am made of 200-year-old tradition and endless memories. I am made of unrelenting inquiry, home to those who raise the bar and raise it again. I am made of bright conviction, of grit, of growth, of greatness. I am South Carolina.
Welcome back to Carolina News. Let's go ahead and talk some sports, starting on the diamond. Coming off a split series with #1 LSU, the Gamecocks were back in action against the Spartans of USC Upstate. Gamecocks go up early thanks to a pair of back-to-back jacks from Dylan Brewer and Ethan Petrie in the first inning. They would extend that lead to 5 in the third inning thanks to a base knock and 2 walks with the bases loaded. Next inning, again, 2 more walks with the bases loaded to bring the lead to 7. 4 of Carolina's runs here were walked in. The Spartans would go on to score a run in the 5th and the 9th off a homer and an error, but the Gamecocks walked away with a 7-2 victory to bring them to 29-4 on the year. They will travel to Nashville to take on the 4th-ranked Vanderbilt Commodores this weekend. Now staying on the diamond but switching to the dirt, Gamecock softball suffered a very heartbreaking loss to rival and #6 ranked Clemson last night. Gamecocks got off to a good start, going up 2 runs early in the game, but they just couldn't keep Clemson from scoring a run in the third. Down to their last strike in the game. Also later on in the 7th, Clemson is going to knock one beyond the fence to score 3 and take a 4-2 lead. The Gamecocks would go on to respond immediately with a Marissa Gonzalez home run, but they left runners on base, ending the game in a 1-run loss. Donnie Goldburn did what she does best, striking out 8, but she gave up 4 runs in that loss. Now let's head up to the majors, where Luis Arias just made Marlins history last night. It's always cool when someone hits for the cycle. You know, that's when someone hits a single, double, triple, and home run for those who don't know. And Arias completed the first cycle in Marlins franchise history. And he continued to impress by upping his batting average to a whopping .537 on the season. This was the first of what will probably be a handful of cycles this season in the MLB. Now on to the hardwood. The NBA playoffs kicked off last night with 2 play-in games. Trae Young led the Hawks, and they got past the Heat on his 25-point performance to clinch the 7th seed and a matchup with the Celtics. Now in the West, LeBron led the Lakers past the Timberwolves in overtime with 30 points in 45 minutes. They secured a 7th seed and will face the Grizzlies. 2 more games are going to take place tonight. The Raptors are going to host the Bulls at 7, and the Pelicans are going to host the Thunder at 9:30. The loser of these 2 games will be eliminated, and the winners will face the Timberwolves in the West and the Heat in the East. And to end with some fun news, and sticking with basketball, just 2 days after a great WNBA draft for the Gamecock women's basketball team, the program is set to make history on an international level. The university announced this morning that the team will take on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish in Paris to kick off their next season. Head coach John Staley said she didn't hesitate to accept the invitation and called it a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for her players. This marks the first time an NCAA basketball game has ever been played in Paris. The game will take place on November 6th of this year, and the venue has yet to be announced. Now, Paris, I mean, that's just kind of crazy. What do you guys think of an international matchup?
I only have 2 things to say. Oui, and ooh la la. What a way to kick off that season. I mean, how could you not accept that invitation?
And I hope our women have just as much spirit as Faith come November.
Maybe Dawn should take me.
Maybe so.
Call me Dawn.
Bring Christina Thacker along with you.
Amen
She wants
to
to go.
that. There we go. A whole Carolina News squad.
Up next on Carolina News, call us cheesy, but we've got a pretty Gouda national holiday to talk about.
And trust us, you won't want to make dinner until you see what's cooking here after the break.
Dad?
Just 1 minute, okay?
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
When I was 10, my mom got deported. We had a difficult time, and I feel that's why I didn't get to finish school. My husband is really supportive in a way that he pushed me to go back to school.
She wants to have a career so her kids can look up to her.
They both keep me motivated to go to school, and they see that if I do it, like they can do it too, you know? I feel that everything's possible.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Drew, spot on this last one. There it is. Keep going with it. Leo.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Finally tonight on Carolina News, it's National Grilled Cheese Day. The cheesy comfort food we're familiar with today originated in the 1920s, but traditionally it was served open-faced. Though it's just bread and cheese, some adorn the simple classic with seasoning, ketchup, mayo, and a whole range of ooey gooey cheese.
I do not think that I would have made it through college without a grilled cheese. If I didn't know how to make a grilled cheese, I would have starved.
That's pretty fair. I like to doctor mine up a little bit.
Let me hear it.
A mean grilled cheese. It has avocado, goat cheese, spinach. It's absolutely delicious.
Talk
You would
about
die.
gourmet.
I know.
Gourmet grilled cheese is where it's at.
Well, y'all, I really love cheese myself, but cheese does not love me. So apparently this weather doesn't either. So, because as you can see, there's going to be some thunderstorms coming up on Friday, and going throughout the week, there's also going to be another thunderstorm on Sunday. But like I said, we're going to make it up with a nice sunny day on Monday. So get out, enjoy the vitamin D. That's all I have for you. Back to the desk.
That's all the time we have today. Thanks so much for being with us.
See you tomorrow and have a great evening.
That mean grilled cheese